It was known that detectives in Wiltshire, London, Kent and Jersey were looking at allegations linked to him, and late last night Hampshire police revealed that they were too.
With us now is Mark Watts, editor of XRO News, which has led initial investigations into these claims. Good morning to you. So this has come, as a shock over the past couple of days, but presumably not to you if you've been investigating this for a while.
It hasn't, no. We at XRO have been investigating the whole subject for 3 years now and publishing material for most of that time. And it was in May of last year when a particular witness, an abuse survivor who we called Nick, not his real name, came forward to tell us about a group of prominent men who he said sexually abused him at Dolphin Square and other locations in London. And at the core of this group, he said, was Sir Heath, the former British Prime Minister. And we ran some initial articles based on what he and another abuse survivor said, specifically about Dolphin Square. It's quite limited, our first piece, in relation to this witness. And the police approached us and said, we'd like to speak to those two anonymous witnesses, one of whom we'd called Nick. And we didn't think they would speak to the police. Often abuse survivors just don't trust the police. So
when the police come to you and say that, you then go back to these people who are making the claims and suggest that they go forward? Or
we pass on the request. Okay. And if they want our advice, then we give it. And actually, we formed the view that the officers were serious. And we encouraged Nick to do so when he kind of asked for our advice. But in the end, it has to be his decision, because if they're going to go through this, because it's hellish for them to have to go through this, then it has to come from them. And he wanted, in the end, to speak to the police on condition that our reporter, who he had been dealing with for some months, was present at the initial meeting. And I can tell you that at that initial meeting, Nick actually handed over a list he'd prepared of the prominent men who he said had sexually abused him, and his name was on that list.
And that's the thing, because for a lot of people, there's so much surprise at the names that are coming out here, and here to have such a senior politician implicated in this.
Well, I think people have to brace themselves for the sheer scale of this scandal. For some while at XRO, we have described this as Britain's biggest ever scandal, because that is what it is. And I'm not just talking about Heath here, I'm talking about the scale, the number of people who were part of this, and crucially, the way in which the state covered it up. We're talking about the police and intelligence services at the core of this. There were plenty of police officers over the years that started to pick up the evidence trail, started to pursue things, and were stopped. And it's terribly important that more of these people come forward.
All right, Mark Watts from XRO News. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.